All right, let's hop into the second game. I'm going to go for, I guess I didn't get anything, so I'll go for a belt start, maybe build some defensive items to start us off. We got Graves this time. Graves is making a return. He hasn't been here since, I believe, like, was he in set 3? He might have been in set 3. He was definitely in set 1, so it's looking like a 1-3-6 for him. And yeah, he has his smokescreen ability, I believe, where he disarms people who are in the smokescreen. So from these guys, you know, maybe we could do some Ezreal. I want to try some Ezreal to get like a scrap bonus, but I'm going to pick up the 2 bodyguards first because you always want to get a tank line. And then after that, you worry about your DPS in the beginning of the game because tanks generally more important because you can build like Sunfire Cape with the belt. So I'll just take any pair I can get, or not pair, any synergy pair I can get. We get a Heimerdinger. He is a Yordle, Innovator, and Scholar. Forget what those do. Yordles, I think they give you an extra dude. Scholars that survive your combat permanently gain 3 ability power, double the hex range of your range units, their attacks cannot miss, and weak spot, your units ignore 25% of their armor and reduce healing received by 50% for 10 seconds. That sounds pretty good. Every unit has healing reduction. That means like I don't need Morello, you know? Also like reducing armor, maybe we could just force Jhin. Jhin seems like a really cool champion, so I think I could just go for him right now, or like Jinx or Kaisa, because I believe they'd all do physical. But here we're just gonna pick up random stuff, and we get a chain vest, so we could build a Sunfire right away. Perhaps I shouldn't have taken that ability or Hextech Augment. Maybe I should have went for the middle one where my attacks cannot miss, because that's probably also good on Jhin. But we have Scrap, so we're going to see how this works. Essentially, Scrap is kind of like you put an item on someone or a half item on someone, and then it turns into a full item. I went ahead and level up. I went ahead and leveled up here, and let's see what it does. So we get, we get a free ZZ Rot on our Ezreal. Notice how we only get 1 item because we're only at 2 Scrap. I believe you need to be at 4 Scrap to get 2 items. I did not know this going into this round. So unfortunate, I have the ZZ Rot on my Ezreal. Not the best. That's probably like the worst bow item I could have ever gotten. But you know, it is what it is. We end up picking up the kill there. We could pick up Singe if we want. And yeah, we lose this round. All right, new shop. We get a Blitzcrank. Ziggs is also a scrap. So maybe we could get to 4 scrap sometime soon, and then we could actually use all the item components. But I guess just build the Sunfire for now. By the time we get 4 scrap, we'll probably be at the carousel anyways. Maybe Sunfire's not the best item though, because we already have the healing reduction from everyone. All right, so we're facing an Innovator. I make a mistake. I throw my Blitz in the back, which doesn't make any sense, right? Because he's got the Sunfire Cape, so he's just constantly applying it on one person, whereas if he was in the front line, he'd put it on other people. Would not have mattered this round, but you know, I just forgot how the item worked. Even though it's not a new thing, like sometimes you get overwhelmed by looking at everything else and get confused. But this guy's 2-star Singe, 2-star Ezreal, we would have lost anyways. All right, new round. Oh. 2-star Blitzcrank, and we get our 4 scrap. Unfortunately, we only have 1 half item component, so we need to wait till after the carousel to get the full benefit. So I think I'm going to play regular dudes until then. So we're facing off against someone weak. We are on a lose streak, but this guy's even weaker than us. That is the new Titan's Resolve, I believe. Look at that item on Ezreal. They updated a couple of the item graphics. I believe like Dragon Claw's different, Zeke's Herald's different. Couple of other ones are too. But that is kind of scary looking. Does not look like the old Titan's Resolve at all. But we're able to pick up a win on this guy, which is pretty nice. All right, we got a bow. I want to go Jhin, so I probably want to go some sort of sword or maybe like a crit item. Someone took the sword. I guess we just go for the crit. I'm thinking Infinity Edge is a good item on him. Not really too sure, but I picked up the Caitlyn just to hold on my bench. And we could probably play all the scraps now because we have multiple item components. So I probably want to fit in Ziggs, Echo. There's also a Trundle on my bench here. I probably want to level up as well. So I put these 5 guys in. I probably didn't realize Trundle was on my bench. We get a ZZ Rot again on Ezreal. We get an Infinity Edge on, who's that, Echo? And this Talon, oh, he's got the Rage Blade Talon. So that's probably the Tech Gun Talon because it has to make sense. We saw in our previous game yesterday where, like, Talon, he applies a bleed on his first attack on a unit and then he reapplies it after 3 autos. So just getting a lot of attack speed has to be the best build on him. There's a Ziggs 2, gonna drop that up. There's another Ezreal, there's another Trundle. I'm not sure if full scrap builds are a real thing because yeah, you get a lot of items, but like, it just doesn't feel like a real synergy because you can't choose like perfect items for your carry, for example, because you want scrap components. Here's my prediction for the scrap trait. Essentially, like, they're gonna overbuff it sometime in the future. I'm not sure when, to make it viable to go for like 4 or 6 scrap in like the late game. Late game as in like stage 5, stage 6. And then it's gonna be so overbuffed that people are just gonna go for it, and then they're gonna nerf it back down again. That's my guess for this set. We'll see what actually happens, but I really doubt someone's gonna be playing 6 scrap in the beginning. It's gonna get like super buffed maybe like 2 patches from now, or 3 patches from now, and then everyone's gonna start playing it. Then it's gonna be too strong, and then they're gonna nerf it back down again. Whether that is gonna be true or not, we'll just have to see, but that is my guess. It makes a lot of sense, because again, it's not an intuitive trait to play in the late game because you do want to end up completing all your items. Essentially, like, scrap in the early to mid game is amazing because you don't have to force yourself to build items, and you can build perfect items for whatever comp you transition into later. So what I'm thinking is, right now, stage 2 and stage 3, use scrap as much as you can. Then once you get to stage 4-1, you're doing your level 7 roll down. Roll down first, whatever 4 costs you get, buy them. Maybe you 2-star them because you're going for literally any of them. And then after that, build perfect items. That seems to make sense to me. We'll see if that actually happens though. Oh, fun fact, if you have a chain vest, rod, belt, sword, or glove, you should put your scrap unit adjacent to certain units because you might get the aura items such as Chalice of Power, Locket, like this guy got this turn, and then also like Trap Claw and like all that other good stuff. But we end up losing this round. We're on a 2-game loser right now. We're level 5, and we're probably going to level up to level 6 next turn. All right, so we see there's another Caitlyn. I do want to go into snipers just because I have that trait where we have reduced armor. I guess any attack damage carry can do, but I just don't know what all the units are quite yet. The only one I can remember is Jin, so we drop in the Kog'Maw. Maybe we could play Kog'Maw Urgot because they both are twin shots. And yeah, just, I don't know why Fiora's in. I think she's just in for fun. Ziggs is in because he's a 2-star and a scrap. I don't know what to do with these items quite yet. Maybe a Trap Claw later on. So he gets the Last Whisper, kind of useless for Ziggs, but hey, you know, it is what it is. There's a Camille. So Camille should be good because she's a Clockwork. And Jin's also a Clockwork, so we definitely need some sort of Clockwork buff for them. And then she's also, I believe, an Enforcer or something like that, so maybe we could do like a Enforcer thing. All right, there's Darius too, there's Tristana too. Maybe Tristana can be our item holder for a bit. So we'll drop him in over Ziggs. We have 3 sniper right now, so probably don't need her. Don't want to build Last Whisper because we already have Armor Pen, so it'd be a little redundant if we built that right now. We definitely want like Infinity Edge, Giant Slayer. Maybe even a Hand of Justice. Hand of Justice Jin makes the most sense because you guys will see later his ability, it's a spell. It's not really like a force shot like he did before. He still has a force shot on the spell, but he does use the mana, and I'm assuming he utilizes both ability power and attack damage, so Hand of Justice makes perfect sense on him to give him a tiny bit of regeneration and like a crap ton of damage over IE or Giant Slayer. Of course, you don't want like too many Hand of Justices, but definitely like 1 Hand of Justice, 1 IE, maybe a Deathblade or something like that, or like a Giant Slayer, depending if Giant Slayer is useful in that lobby or not. But definitely want the sword here. We're like kind of last pick, we're 3rd pick or something like that, so we're able to get that, lucky for us. And we get more augments. 2 target dummies. Underdogs is whenever your team has fewer than units alive than your opponent, you regenerate 15% of their missing health each second. And then I also have like a bodyguard thing. I'm just looking to see what bodyguards do. They just gain some armor. I'm feeling target dummy might be the best because I want to try something crazy like 6 sniper. So if I'm going 6 sniper, I need something to tank for me, and bodyguards don't really match up with the snipers because none of them are Clockworks, for example. So I think you just want to go for the target dummies to tank for my 6 snipers. One thing we'll have to explore is whether the vertical synergies are worth going for. Obviously, like something like 6 snipers typically shouldn't be good, but maybe if you get like the augment that gives you 2 sniper bonuses, then you just run 4 snipers, that should probably be good enough. But running 6 snipers without having like a spatula or one of the augments that gives you an extra guy is a little suspect because You just don't have any tanks, but so that's why I take the target dummies. And also it's like a play test. Going 6 snipers seems a lot more fun than going for like 2 sniper Jin and then like 6 tanks, for example. But we get the Camille there. Oh, she's actually a challenger. She's not an enforcer. So I think there is a enforcer somewhere though in the clockwork trait. I kind of forget who is who. Enforcer's good because it locks down someone on the enemy team. Like, look, my Blitzcrank just got ghosted. But Challenger doesn't really do too much. Challenger's kind of like a carry trait, which I don't really need. So maybe Oriana might be better. I remember she's a clockwork. There must be one other unit. But he's got a great heal off with that Janna. He is level 7, so makes sense that I lose this round. All right, let's see what we get from Wolves. We get 2 items. We get, 3 items actually. Oh yeah, because there are no more armories, you get a lot more items from the neutral rounds again. So just be aware of that because you're not going to get perfect items like you did in last set anymore. The reason why stuff like Locket wasn't good last set is probably because armories existed, so people got perfect items much more often than they did before. Whereas now you get random items. Maybe Locket is back in the meta now. But I'm going to level up, do some roll downs. I really want to do the snipers. I'm kind of forcing it at this point, but I do need some attack damage carry. Maybe I could have went challengers instead of snipers because that buff does make a lot of sense on them. We get a Misfortune 2-star. We have the 4 snipers in right now. Not really the best frontline synergies, so maybe we need a tank item, but I also want to save the glove for like an Infinity Edge later on for my guy. Alright, this guy's got a Jace in the backline with the Rage Blade. Jace's ability, I think, is pretty creative. He's got 2 of them, so it depends on where you put him. Frontline or backline. In the backline, he's a range unit. In the frontline, he's a melee unit. Are we able to... Man, he is healing so much. We just have the stupid target dummies that got targeted last at in this particular fight. So that's a little annoying considering we lost there pretty hard. There's a Yone. Don't really need him too badly, but, you know, I'll keep rolling because I'm kind of desperate for something right now. We're lucky. We lucked out and hit the Jhin. Gonna drop him in, gonna drop the Clockwork in, and put the items on my Jhin right now. Quicksilver might be useful on Jhin, because we're about to see his ability is channeled, so getting a Quicksilver on him, let's say you didn't have a Trap Claw like I do in this case, it might prove to be pretty useful because it allows him to get his full cast off. Because look at him now, he shoots once, twice, 3 times, and then crit on the 4th one. His bullets do go through everyone, so that is really nice. But yeah, definitely want like a better damage item than Giant Slayer. Giant Slayer as a standalone, generally not the best item, but as like a 3rd damage item, it is like one of the best because it just amplifies everything that you do, assuming that they have high health targets. So there's a 2nd Jhin, so we almost have 4 Jhins. Trying to think of what else to put in. The Colossuses are so hard to weave in and out if you're going for like a 6 synergy because they take up 2 slots. So when they take up 2 slots, it's kind of hard to like fit that many people on your team. So if you're level 8, you can maybe fit 4 snipers and 2 Colossuses, but then you can't, or Colossi, but then you can't have like Clockwork for Jhin, which definitely is useful for him because it gives him a bunch of stats. And if he's your main carry, I mean, stats are pretty important. But we have the Giant Slayer against this Cho'Gath, so we should have no problem in this round. Oh my god. It seemed like his 4-shot did 0 damage to the Malzahar there. Alright, there's a sword on the Yuumi, but maybe someone takes Yuumi because she's a legendary. I'm Kench with a chain. I could maybe build a Bramble Vest, but I do want to finish this last item on Jhin. Alright, I guess Chain Vest for Bramble because nothing else really works. I guess Hand of Justice works, but I just didn't think of that Hand of Justice at that time. Like now looking back at it, like Hand of Justice makes so much sense on Jhin because the mana is useful, the stats are useful, and the healing is also useful. But Bramble Vest is good too, because we don't have many tanks. We just have the 2 target dummies. And yeah, we'll just leave our team like this for now. I dropped in Fiora because she's an enforcer. So we're going to banish someone from their team. Look, we just banished their like Colossus guy. Like that's crazy, right? But for some reason we still targeted him. So are they just stunned in the beginning with enforcer? It's not really like a Zephyr where they're untargetable. We got smashed anyways, so a little unfortunate there, but you know, it is what it is. So we are in 7th place right now. We're at 34 health. There's no more stimulus package, so you can't lose streak to try to get it anymore, which makes things a little more difficult to come back from. So you have to take advantage of the lose streak gold because that's really your only saving grace right now. We're facing a Seraphine with Shojin double hat. That has to be a good build on her. But yeah, Enforcer doing lots of work, CCing a unit in the back, the 2-star Janna, that has to be huge. But once we get our 2-star Jhin, his damage should be amped up by a lot. Oh no, we got stunned. Wait, his ultimate persists through the stun, so maybe Quicksilver is completely useless on him. Because he got stunned, right? He got rooted by Yuumi. I guess a root technically isn't an interrupt. It's kind of just like a root. It's not really a stun, so maybe he still held the channel that way. I'm not really too sure, but it does look like a stun. Maybe it's not a root. If anyone knows what Yuumi's ability actually does, let me know down in the comments below. But we are on the next stage. There is Janna. Do we need her? She's a scrap enchanter scholar. Doesn't really make too much sense, but we really just need Jhin 2-star right now. We got a rod and a bow, so maybe a rage blade would be decent. And next up is an augment. Toma traits, woodland charm. At the start of combat, your highest health champion creates a 1500 copy health of themselves, excluding items, and then sniper emblem. Are there any champions that heal? Because if there is, that clone one could be really good. I just went with the sniper emblem, trying to get 6 snipers because I'm kind of just screwing around right now. A sniper emblem on Blitz actually kind of makes a little sense because he targets the furthest unit. We're going to roll down. Let's try to get this Jhin here. There's an Urgot, but don't need him. Misfortune we already have. And finally, there we get it. A little lucky because we didn't have that much gold. Let's drop the Rage Blade on him. And I guess just QSS. Who else are we going to QSS at this point in time? Runons, I don't really think makes that much sense on him. And if we built a Runons, we'd have to build Spell Crit. I think his ability already critically strikes on his own because it's considered like a attack kind of thing. Like, you know how some champions have that? Here, let's pay attention now. We'll check out his ult, see if he can crit already. Okay, maybe he can. He does a lot of damage though, like 1300, 700. Those are the numbers I was seeing without his force shot. All right, so I need to figure out who my front line's gonna be because it's definitely not Blitzcrank. But I just don't know who would fit in that is better right now because none of the synergies really work. So maybe it's just like a random legendary unit. Honestly, I probably should be buying this Braum just because Braum is probably a better tank than Blitzcrank. And obviously, if you're playing seriously, you probably just drop down to 4 sniper to play real units instead of 6 sniper because Jhin probably has enough damage on his own without the sniper buff. But let's see his ultimate. 1, 2. See, he does crit without needing Jeweled Gauntlet. So that is one important thing to know, is his ability is kind of treated like an auto attack. But normally for your ability to spell crit, you need like the Jeweled Gauntlet item, which allows your spells to crit or be an assassin. So sell those guys. Maybe Urgot because he's got a twin shot. Urgot's not really a tank this set though, but he is a melee unit. Urgot is actually like a high DPS unit right now. He just sits in the front and he's kind of like a machine gun guy in the front line. That's his that's his identity. He does a ton of attacks like that. But look at this Jhin. He just picked up like 3 kills with 1 bullet. That is awesome to see. He did 10,000 damage. Absolutely nuts. And he doesn't even have 3 offensive items. He has a Quicksilver. Quicksilver gives like a bunch of attack speed now, but I mean, compared to a real item, it probably does a lot less. Like an Infinity Edge probably is insane on Jhin. I could imagine a build like Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, plus a Giant Slayer might be like the best thing to build on him. Or maybe Hand of Justice instead of one of those. Because the only reason why I don't have Last Whisper in right now is because I took the Augment in the beginning, which reduces armor by 25%. So I'm already getting Armor Pen without needing to build the item. I went and got Zephyr here. It's like stupid because I just don't know what any of the emblems do, and that was like the only item available. It was either that or hat. I'm not a fan of Zephyr on like PBE or like playtest games because it's kind of stupid, but yeah, I mean, there's just no better option in that time. All right, we're facing off against an Akali carry. He's got a 1-star Akali only, so we should be fine. Okay, Akali jumped away from Jhin and then died mid-shot or mid-jump, but we still lose anyways. All right, Zilean looks really interesting. He actually has his revive ability in this game, so he should be a pretty good champ. We're at 27 life, so we're a little low. I forgot to use my Zephyr. It is what it is. Despite being 27 life, we're actually not that far behind from people, but I feel like we need to roll a little bit because I want like a real tank instead of this Blitzcrank. We're running like a 2-star tank right now, and it just doesn't feel good. There's Orianna. Maybe we could run her over the Camille, because Challenger really doesn't do too much for us because we don't care about Fiora. I probably shouldn't be rolling here, honestly, because the only upgrades I could get is Kog'Maw 2 and Tristana 2. which doesn't really seem like that big of an upgrade. So I probably should have just leveled up to level 9 here instead. Looks like we are facing a Colossus guy, so Giant Slayer should have a ton of value here. Nice. We pretty much like... He keeps dodging our attacks. So he got a dodge because he has a Shroud of Stillness, and then Jin missed another shot on his own. So that's why he survived for so long. That's a little unlucky if you have to ask me. But we get the cleanup here. 2,000 damage almost on that last shot, which is kind of insane. Alright, so we get a Quicksilver Sash from the dragon. Kind of useless. We don't have an item holder or like a secondary carry. Like our secondary item holder is Blitzcrank with Sniper emblem. So that's not a real carry. We really need a better tank than Blitzcrank. Thank God for the training dummies, because if not, we just wouldn't be able to run 6 Sniper. Maybe I could like make Fiora a carry if I get her 2 stars. I'm 1 off of her, so maybe I could roll down for that, considering everyone is really low right now anyways. I'm gonna go ahead and roll and pray that we hit her. We got Tristana, not the one we wanted, but you know, it's whatever. Oh, I forgot to put my Zephyr on again, so I guess we could drop it now on the Jace and sell the rest of our guys on our bench. All right, so Galio does a huge jump. Doesn't Galio look a lot like Dr. Mundo? I honestly can't tell the difference. Quicksilver saved us there. Oh, 4,000 damage on the Jace. That is insane. Dude, Jin is awesome. Jin carry has to be a good thing, assuming his numbers don't change too much. Dude, with all these Jins we're seeing, we probably should have just picked him up and played like a 3-star Jin potentially, because we did roll down on level 8 as well. So whenever you do that, like going for 4-cost 3 stars generally is a decent thing. You kind of always decide on whether going 9 or going for 3 stars is the way to go. And like we've just seen a lot of Jins for some reason, but he snipes that Kaisa all the way across the map. That is awesome. That Kaisa didn't have enough time to really do anything to us. Oh, we are in first place somehow with 27 life. That is strange because I felt like we were like 7th place before, and then we worked our way back up somehow, but I don't feel like our team is that strong. There seems to be a glitch in the Matrix where we do not see our team until there are 18 seconds left in the turn. Luckily, we're not doing too much. But I guess we want Fiora too, maybe get some items for her. Maybe go for, like, we keep seeing Jins, but I keep selling him to make interest, so like I probably should have went for Jin 3 or something like that. But not seeing the Fiora. It's probably because I was too low life, so I was too scared to go for Jin 3. Normally, I only go for 3-star 4 costs if I'm trying to go for first place. But this game, since I was 27 life sometime in like stage 4, I was trying to just do damage control, honestly, where I'm just like playing to not die. And you can't afford to go for a 3-star 4 cost when you're playing to not die. We're at 9 health now, so we did our job. We got top 4 from that, so I'll be okay with the outcome of this game. All right, what item to get? I'd love IE, but don't get that. I guess Zeke's maybe for the Jin. I don't know. Maybe RFC for the Fiora would have done fine. I don't know what Fiora does exactly, to be honest. Oh, she does her, like, ultimate in League of Legends. She needs to, like, attack someone 4 times or something like that. I think that's the skill she has. We're rolling down. There's another Jin. I guess we buy it. Whatever. We'll run 2 Jins. Maybe it works, you know? Put the sniper buff on Camille, Sunfire on the Fiora. We have the 2 training dummies, so one of the Jins is bound to pop up. I'm pretty sure without items, he still does decently on his own with the 6 sniper buff, because like the buffs alone just should be insane, right? Like look, he did a lot of work there despite having 0 items. He just cleaned up after the main Jin got sniped off right away. So that got us like a 3rd place, honestly. I guess if you go for a 6 synergy trait, you always want to play as many units for them as possible, even if it means sacrificing some other stuff. Because like we just don't have a front line this game, right? Like I probably should swap out Camille for Orianna, because Orianna at least has some CC. Camille just really doesn't do anything. Like Challenger's a fake trait in this comp. So I'm just gonna swap my Jins around and go from there. We're facing off against the Colossus guy. We should do fine against him. Oh, we got shrouded. Never mind. Our main Jin got shrouded. Maybe the secondary Jin carries again, you know? Never really can guess. Is our main Jin gonna ult? No, he did not get his ult in time, so we do get knocked out there. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, we were very low health the entire game, so getting a 3rd here, I am perfectly fine with that. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll be releasing one more game from this set tomorrow, and I hope to see you guys there. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and of course smash that like button. Each like is an LP I gain before the next video.